Welcome to the Pursuing Freedom Outdoors podcast, a place where backcountry warriors can share their stories of grit, service, healing, and wilderness adventures. I'm your host, Tom Walton, Marine Corps veteran, full-time cop, and aspiring hunting and fishing guide. Join me and others as we journey from the hood to the woods in pursuit of freedom in the outdoors. Hey, everybody, and thank you for joining me on the Pursuing Freedom Outdoors podcast. Just before I dive into this episode, I just want to give you guys a heads up that this is actually going to be a two-parter. I've got guest Tom Snyder on from Stuck in the Rut, and this first part, we are going to deep dive into Tom, his family, and the history of Stuck in the Rut and how hard that they work to get where they have come. So, let's delete part of that. We're going to deep dive into Tom Snyder, his family, and the history of Stuck in the Rut and how hard they have worked to get where they've gone. And I'm really looking forward to this episode and our following episode where we deep dive into spring bear hunting. So stay tuned for both. This is part one. Part two will drop next week. Thank you. All right, everybody. Welcome to the Pursuing Freedom Outdoors podcast. I'm your host, Tom Walton. You'll notice if you were watching on YouTube, background still surgery recovery, recording from the couch. I don't think it's affecting the audio too much. Just want to apologize if it is. But more importantly, I am really excited because today I am joined by Tom Snyder from Stuck in the Rut. And if you guys aren't familiar, which I think most people probably will be, if you're not familiar, Stuck in the Rut has been around for 15 years now, Tom, at least?
Yeah, it's
about
been
15 years. Amazing, hardworking family, just absolutely crushing it in their home area, the state of Idaho, but also some amazing content that they've pulled out of Alaska as well. I know I've really enjoyed over the years watching them do their thing, and it's great content, good learning. Tom and a lot of your family, and you guys do a lot of master classes. We could talk about that a little bit too, where to find those on 360 Sportsman. But yeah, just all around solid outdoors family. Super honored and humbled to have Tom on the podcast today. So without further ado, Tom, welcome to the show, man. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you. I always, super grateful to always be in podcasts. I enjoy helping people. I want to help people become better hunters. And I think that's truly, we're all on the same team here. We're all trying to become better hunters, and I like to see people's success. And so, yeah, I'm here to help in any way, shape, or and I love talking about hunting. I love BS, and so
yeah, perfect. That's kind of one of the reasons why I started a podcast, a good excuse to BS about hunting. Yeah, man. So we'll just dive into it. For the listeners, primary topic that we'll get into in a little bit here will be bear hunting. So by the time you guys are listening to the spring bear season is really going to be right around the corner. And I want to get you guys pumped up and prepared for bear hunting, wherever you're going to get to do that here in the Northwest. Before we get to that, Tom, if you just want to kind of give us, for those that aren't familiar, tell us about Stuck in the Rut, man, your guys' history and your family's history and how this all came to be.
We grew up in the mountains. I wouldn't say we're necessarily Hicks, but kind of. But my dad's a logger. I grew up in a logging home. I myself, I do a lot of the same type of work, and so I'm still doing that. Travis, my brother Travis, he's a contractor, and we've all just started with a really strong work ethic at a very young age. Kind of the type of family dynamic we had was when we were growing up is, Dad, he was very much hunted just as hard as he worked. And the workaholic that he was, he would take time off work, and he would head to the mountains. And when we were old enough to hunt, even younger than that, we would camp with Dad. And I watched him I think I got the elk bug at an early age, calling an elk and watching him stick elk when I was like 10 years old, And so we got it right from the ground floor. We watched him kill animals. And then when we were old enough to hunt, I feel like he himself was really big in sacrificing his time and for us to have these experiences, and he had to go through the learning curve with me, especially at 12 years old, not being able to see the deer in my scope, and having that patience. And so a lot to thank to him. Travis, my older brother, he is definitely the next level hunter. He's always had a skill to adapt, and I've watched him out hunt and out kill any full grown man. And I remember him killing a 360 bull when he was 16 years old with a bow and arrow. And I remember half the talent of 30 and 40-year-old guys were just jealous of that bull. And the thing is Travis, my brother Travis, has always had a streak in killing big bulls. So it's not like it was a fluke. He's always been really good at adapting, and having him as a brother was so I've had really good role models with my dad, my older brother, then a lot of the older timers too that my dad hunted with, like they all were around us and taught us a lot. Living in our small community that we live in, it'd be a pretty boring life not to hunt. There's not a lot of other things to do. And I think it's funny when you have a lot of new people move to Idaho and they're like, there's nothing to do here. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's hunting, fishing, you could do whatever. But yeah, but I would say that the wolves topic we can get into, like the wolves have took a toll on our wildlife numbers. And that's what actually kind of got us the bug to travel a lot more and to hunt outside of our state and to explore new areas. As a lot of you guys have listened to us, probably seen us hunt Alaska. I think growing up, we've, I think who was an inspiration outside of our own, you know, local area was watching videos of Jim Shockey growing up as a kid and seeing him hunt Alaska and hunting those big moose. And caribou. And so that was just like, we had this drive to hunt and explore Alaska pretty much about the age of just like, I mean, we were fresh out of high school. We made trips to Alaska hunting. And I guess we're like late teenagers and making drives to Alaska. I mean, and killing caribou and stuff. And so we started our adventures at a very young age, similar to like what you and I talked about earlier, where it was like we saw that the hunting world or the industry was changing a lot to where we couldn't even relate to it anymore. And we honestly thought it was getting silly, like where, it went from like the type of Jim Shockey era to now people are hunting high fenced ranches. Nothing against that. It's just, you're not if you're hunting a high fence, you're not a professional hunter. Like that's just my personal take, and I'm being a little blunt with that. Like I said, you do you, I can care less, but like you shooting an animal behind a fence, like does not give you a status of a professional hunter. And the thing is we just couldn't relate to that anymore. It's like, we can't relate to this. Like, and a lot of people can't. And we were one of the first, I'd say, to start a YouTube channel where like, because we were started creating content, we started getting into the videography. We had actually Gunworks helped us out big time because they were already filming their hunts and posting them on the Sportsman channel on television. And so they actually taught us a little bit how to use a camera and they aired some of our footage. But what I found is so then we started doing the circuits. I know I'm going, it's a little bit of a longer route and
No,
everything
this
we've
is good,
got.
man. I like it. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Yeah, so we started doing the circuits of going to the Salt Lake show, Portland, Oregon show, and doing the show circuit to get our name out there. And it was so we were surprised that a lot of people started knowing us from the get go. People were like, "Oh, I love your videos." And so we were thinking that people were recognize us from television. And it wasn't that. It was a small amount of YouTube videos I posted and started realizing that I think that's where we need to focus our attention to because YouTube and online is the future. And so we started right like at a very early time. I mean, I feel like we could have started earlier. I wish we did, but we eventually, like you said, it was probably 15, it was more like 14 years ago. We started Stuck in Rut before that, but about 14 years ago is when we actually started a YouTube channel and we were starting to throw a couple videos. We didn't want to fully throw all of our videos in yet because we had DVDs we were trying to sell, but I was kind of prying at my brother. I'm like, dude, like there's people know us from YouTube. We need to focus on YouTube. And I finally got my brother convinced we need to focus on YouTube. And then it's grown and that's been honestly what's made us who we are today. And what people really liked is it was something different. The one thing that television was getting, we use the term woke now. I'm going to use that then, but it
No
was getting
problem.
woke back in 2010, 2011, where, they didn't like to show blood. They didn't like to show an animal rolling down the hill. And it's like these things happen on a hunt where sometimes an animal takes more than one shot, even with a good shot. And it's like, we're going to show actual hunting because people can no longer relate to this anymore. It's too like, who are they trying to cater to here? Like they're trying to cater to the people that don't like hunting. And it's like, we're catering to hunters, people that can actually relate to us, relate to real life struggles in the hunting space. And so we showed everything from like, oh, like sometimes and you shoot an animal and it rolls down the hill. That's the joys of hunting in steep country, right? You can't, it's not in a farm field where it drops in the farm field, which again, nothing against that. And if I had the chance, I would. If somebody's like, hey, you want to shoot this big muley off my field? Sure. You know,
Absolutely.
I just don't have that opportunity. So we're hunting the steep mountains. You're going to have an animal roll. You're not going to have an animal that's standing perfectly broadside for you. Like you're going to have to take some shots, still lethal shots, but you have to work and adapt to your environment. And so a lot of people related to that. And I felt like we were helpful. I want to say we were the people that kind of changed the industry, but, or at least changed the videos, but like, I felt like it was helpful. We were helpful. We were one of the first. And so I feel like that just kind of going on with that, I feel like that's kind of where we're at today. I'm still hunting DIY public land hunts. Yeah, I'm about your age. I'm 36, going on 37. I actually feel like I think I have my aches and pains for sure, but I'm actually in better health now than I was in my 20s. So I feel very fortunate with that. So
I can relate
staying
to
healthy.
that, man. Like, not to
Yeah.
interrupt you, but just as you know, and everyone listening knows, like I'm recovering from a back surgery, but thankfully for the listeners that haven't heard, it's minimally invasive, should be good to go by summer, but aches and pains. But man, just like you, I feel like even though I was in the Marine Corps and getting out and going through the Sheriff's Academy in my 20s, I was in dang good shape, man. I could sprint and I could wrestle with bad guys on the ground forever and win fights. But I could not, hike and climb through the mountains like I can now. I mean, it was a different type of athleticism that I've achieved since. And I am by far healthier doing what I do in the mountains now than what just trying to be big in the gym or whatever. So I can relate to that 100%. And it comes with some aches and pains, but it's worth every day.
Yeah. And I think it could be a percentage you could probably relate to where we learn to not do so many stupid things, but we still do them. And I noticed that myself. I'm like, yeah, like I would hurt myself in my 20s quite a bit without thinking straight, heavy lifting without, like, but I still pack moose quarters. I mean, I thought my back was shot. I thought I was going to have to go through back surgery when I first turned 30. I was like, I told you that I did have like kind of a herniated disc. It's actually been good now. It doesn't hurt like it did, but I did have an MRI and I did have one that was happening. And so they just said like, the doctor gave me some recommendations on how to take care of it. And it kind of, I don't know, I don't have the pain anymore. So back at it full throttle.
That's a blessing, man. Yeah. If
And
you
my
catch those
dad,
things early enough, yeah, you can, and they don't get too bad, you can fix them. Yeah. It doesn't always have to be surgery.
yeah, my dad, I gotta say, I mean, gosh, I feel silly for not remembering his exact age, but I think he's about 67 right now. And that guy still can outwork most guys you're my age. And it's like my goal is to be my dad. He's still just tough as nails and he doesn't really hunt like he's just a workaholic. He just loves to work in the woods. That's his joy in life. That's where his therapy is. But anytime I have an elk on the ground and, we're in kind of the same unit where we live and it like I'll call him. He's like, hey dad, you want to help pack out this bull I killed? I'll be 6 miles back with the dead elk. He will drop, he'll set the chainsaw down. He will drive to his house, grab a pack board, and he's on his way. And he's still packing elk quarters with us. And it's just like really impressive. And he wears his slip-on morels. I'm like, what are you doing with those slip-on morels, Dad? Like, of course you got blisters. But yeah, he's a workaholic. The whole family is that's the one thing you'll learn about the Steckenrep family. And I wish I was better at showing it more when I edit the Steckenrep videos is we do truly do work hard for what we got. And I'm not sitting there complaining about like, we're just told not to complain. So when I'm in a nasty blizzard or whatever, I'm like, today's a good day. Yeah, it's just another day hunting. And sometimes I just feel like it's just normal. But anytime I've taken other people hunting with me, they talk about how hard it is to hunt with me. And I hate doing this because I like to make friends. I really like to make friends. But I end up losing friends because after they hike, well, I don't lose friends. They just don't want to hike with me again. We're still friends. They realize like, oh, that's why you kill her. It's because it's a lot of people like to blame the technology, right? Oh, it's because you have a long range gun. Oh, it's because you got the best bow. Oh, it's because you got. But it's like, okay, I know why now. Like it's because you freaking hike your balls off and you're, you're not wanting to quit. Like, are you ever gonna rest? Maybe when I take a lunch. But I gotta stay warm. It's cold outside. I gotta keep walking. I gotta keep hiking. You know. And so I don't take a lot of breaks. But just on the move a lot. And then if you're hunting the heavier timber country, you're moving a lot. Like you're not doing a lot of glassing. But when you're hunting the open country, you're doing a lot of glassing. Just all depends. But yeah, that's just a little bit about us there. I guess that's a good rundown, at least.
Hey, folks, just wanted to take a quick break from the show to talk about my most recent partnership with a good friend of mine, Jake Collier, and his company, One Outdoors. One Outdoors provides a trusted place to purchase outdoor experiences, gear, and services. They aim to positively impact people and the environment by donating 10% of all of their net profits to Restoration Outdoors, a nonprofit, which in turn invests in mental health and conservation. One Outdoors offers trips around the globe, whether you're interested in hunting in Africa or fishing in Alaska, Patagonia, and more. They can customize your outdoor experiences and beyond just hunting and fishing to whitewater rafting. You name it, folks. If you can dream it up in the outdoors, One Outdoors can help make that dream come true. And I'm proud to be partnering with them and consulting on trips and hunts. So if you're interested in booking a trip of a lifetime with One Outdoors, you can reach me or reach out to me at Thomas at pursuingfreedomoutdoors.com. It's Thomas at pursuingfreedomoutdoors.com, or you can contact me directly through Instagram, Facebook, you name it. But One Outdoors, folks, really excited to be working with these guys. So thank you very much for listening to the Pursuing Freedom Outdoors podcast, and we'll get back to the show. Yeah, absolutely. And I can definitely attest to at least, like we talked about, not giving away too much details, but I can attest to the country, the type of country you guys are hunting in. And there's nothing easy. I can't honestly think of like an easy way to cheat in that country, because if there was, I would probably use it and kill more animals. It's not really cheat code country, man. It's tough. It's thick. It's steep. All the mountains are big. So yeah, you guys definitely, just knowing that, what I know about the country, if I had never watched a video, I know if you're killing elk back in there or any critters, you're working hard for them. So
Yeah. No, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, we
yeah,
do. We put it time. And so
anybody
I,
can get lucky once in a while, but you got to generally work hard back there.
yeah. I know the elk I killed this year wasn't too far back. However, the reason why I found that elk was because I'd put in a full, let's see, I'm trying to think of how long that day was. It was close to, well, I'm just kind of just showing like how sucky a day is with me. And this was one of the worst, I'd say one of the worst days of hiking, but I was like doing the old steep and deep, right? I increased my elevation. Let's see. So I'm trying to do the math here. Give me a sec. So it was a 2,700 foot elevation climb. And I did a big loop to go back to the pickup. It was a big loop, and it was a total of 16 miles on Onyx. And that's a dig. And I did this big loop, not just because I'm crazy, but I was like, there's a bull that I'm trying to find in here. I did get in the elk action about the halfway point, and my release broke. And so I realized, well, crap, I got to leave the mountain now. And so I had to hike an additional 8 miles leaving the mountain, all pissed. But on my way back, I crossed, and it was actually not that, I was like actually getting pretty dang close to the pickup at this time, but I took a different route to get back to the pickup just because in exploring mode, cross paths with a really big bull track, and you can see where there's a herd living in the area. And I'm like, and I was like, I can't let a single peep out, because if I do, what am I going to do? My release is broken, And so I got off the mountain as fast as I could. Unfortunately, being that I needed a release, like it was the end of the day, I had to go the next day to get the release. So it ended up being it was the other day. So I got a day rest. Other day, I went back up there, and I took the route where I saw the bull tracks, and I ended up killing that big bull there. And that actually wasn't that far of a path, thank goodness. But what was funny is I sent my little brother, Trevor. He's a tough dude, and he can hike anywhere. I was like, Trevor, will you help me pack out an elk? I got a big bull. And he says, before I agree, I need the coordinates to see if I really want to do it. Because he knew even my little brother, as tough as he is, he won't do the hunt that I did. My older brother would maybe, but little brother Trevor, he's just like, send me the coordinates. And then I send the coordinates. He's like, I can do that. Okay, I'll do it. But I mean, like I said, he still, he gets after. I like, just like brothers, I like to joke around, but
So
yeah,
there's probably got to be some good ribbing and like family competition with all you guys, man.
yeah. Well, a lot of it is just like surprisingly, we actually get along really well. And if my brother kills a bull, like it feels like I kill it. There's that. So we actually do get along pretty well in that case. We don't really get jealous over what we each other kill.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like we're a good team. I think that's probably the most unique thing about our family. Is we get along, and again, I know some people, they disown family members and stuff, and I don't know what's going on in everybody's family, but yeah, our family gets along really well, surprisingly. Knock on wood. We have our differences, but we all love the hunt, and we all still show up at a family reunion. So
That's awesome.
It's,
That's definitely a blessing, man, to be able to spend that time with your family for sure, and to share it in the outdoors, and, the most beautiful place you can do it.
yeah. That's right. I wear these glasses because they're screen glasses, but I'll wear them. I actually technically don't need glasses.
Gotcha.
Thanks to LASIK.
Well, yeah. Well, thanks for sharing your background. And I just totally dig the family thing. I don't come from a real hunting family, so like the people that I share a lot of my time hunting with, my wife will go with me occasionally. Like Tanya, she shot a cow this year, and it's really fun to share those moments with her. But she's, this year she was more determined than ever, which was actually really cool because she had the cow tag. And when I got kind of gypped out of my elk hunt and couldn't go get an elk myself, it was like, she's like, well, we're putting elk in the freezer. And so she got real determined this year to go fill that cow tag. And that was a really fun. I told her, I was like, that was probably the best part of my hunting season, was just watching her actually want to go get up and do it. So that was really fun. Most time I'm with my buddies if I'm with people. And so the fact that you guys have that family dynamic and it runs so deep, that's a special thing that you guys got going.
I tried that, but my wife, she doesn't hunt, which we I want to say, like, we just kind of came to terms of like, she doesn't like to hunt, but she has her hobbies. I have my hobbies. As long as she lets me have my hobbies, it's important. And so one of our deals when I got married was like, she had to go through a hunting season first to see what it was like. And so she got to see what a real hunt was like. So that's our dynamic. So the one time, because Idaho does do it's called the Hunter's Passport. It allows first time hunters to try before they even try taking hunter safety. Yeah, so I was like, hey, like, let's just try it. Just try a hunt. If you don't like it, you really don't have to get into it. But probably the mistake I made is, once again, I was like, she needs the full experience of a real hunt. So we were trudging snow, trying to get her muley buck. She killed a muley buck, but I was like, she got the full experience pushing deep snow. I thought she was gonna love it. She said never again. I was like, okay, maybe I should have started with the farmer's field, started and worked baby steps. And that's what a lot of people told me, like, you did it wrong. Like my taxidermist, he's like, Tom, you did it wrong. You got to start him with the farmer's field. Get her an easy whitetail. Like, give her, like, while you're skinning it out, give her some hot chocolate, you want it to be a good experience. And then you work your way up. So I was like,
oh yeah.
Oh, God. I took her just like, yeah, we got a sandwich we'll share when we kill a deer.
Yeah,
go through it.
My wife's not in love with it. She, I never asked her to go hunting again, she wouldn't complain, but she'll go because she likes to eat it. So she likes to help fill the freezer, and to her, that part of it's important. But I typically try to do the farmer's field hunts for her. Every once in a while, she'll be like, yeah, I want to try something different. Like we went to some of the general areas that you guys spend a lot of time in, and I took her for some fun hikes and hunts. We had one of the controlled doe tags this last year, and did a hunt in that area, and that was really fun. We had a good time just spending time, and a little bit more of a kind of sort of backcountry setting, and she likes that too. But she's pretty content doing summer or hiking, and if hunting, she can have it her way. It'll be fair weather, but I don't complain because she'll go once in a while, and she usually will go enough to bring home a deer. So she helps contribute to the freezer. We really appreciate that.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, like said, she's really, yeah, my wife, she's really supportive of my hobby, and not a lot of women would be. Like, I feel like I did a hunt in so Alaska last year. Since like and I've said this before, where I'm just like, I know the dedication it takes to fill a tag, although I do enjoy the experience regardless if I failed my tag or not. But I'm there to fill my tag. I'm not there to look at the rainbow or the sunset. I'm there to kill. And so when I go on a hunt, I am determined to come home with something that I'm happy with. And so I was in Alaska and I was hoping like maybe a week. I ended up being in Alaska for 20 plus days, or at first I think it was like more like 17 days, and I finally got my moose. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know my wife misses me. Finally got back in the service. I messaged her like, hey, I got my moose. She was really excited to see me. And then I think this is where her heart kind of sank. Is like, so Tana, she's like, I want to hunt caribou. Will you camp with me? My sister. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I want to hunt caribou. I really do, because I actually do love hunting them. And I was like, but I've already been gone for like almost the whole month of September. And I'm like, okay. So I relate it down to my wife. I'm like, hey, honey, so I'm not quite going home quite yet. Like we're hunting caribou with Tana, and she needs support. Like Adam can't go because he has to watch the kids at home, but he can at least drop us off. And so she was very understanding. And I'm like, they helped me kill a moose. In return, I should go on that caribou hunt. And I love caribou hunt. It's fun. I love being around caribou.
For sure.
And so, but she was supportive. And I'm like, I can tell you right now, I'm like, most women would have said, no, you're coming home right now.
Yeah.
I felt like that's enough. That's enough. I haven't seen you in a month. And she let me do it, and I'm like, and so she's been, like I said, very supportive. She knew what she was getting herself into. I prepped her, and she's a city girl from Seattle, and I married her and moved her out to the country. It's
That's awesome, man. Yeah, you did move her out to the country, especially probably about the time that you were bringing her out there. It was even more country.
oh yeah. Then we moved out. Now we live like in the country, literally. As we were before we started our podcast, I was looking outside to see there was elk in our yard yesterday, and so I was just kind of looking outside. We live on 20 acres out here, but we live close to public land, which is nice. It's in walking distance. Um,
Awesome.
but
Yeah,
yeah, so
it's
I mean, we live. We I she's supportive, and she sees the kids. Like the kids are really liking it out here. We got two kids that are always obsessed. They're too young to hunt yet, but they're really enjoying the outdoors. I took them snowmobiling a couple days ago, and I just couldn't get them off the mountains. It's
awesome.
yeah, love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, quick plug for your podcast. And I think it's something that I want to maybe touch on one of these days on future episode. But you guys have your Stuck in the Rut podcast. And I was scrolling through some of the episodes recently and noticed that you actually have a like balancing family and hunting episode.
Yeah, we that was funny timing too. So I saw that. Say if I say the name right, Mark Livestay. Did I say his name right? Do you know what
I
I'm
think
talking
so.
about?
Yeah. Mark Livesay. Yeah.
Yeah, he did one the same week, and I was laughing. I was like, because I did, and I wanted him to know. I'm like, I promise, wasn't trying to copy it, but I was like, my wife and I have been talking about it for a month. I'm like, we should talk about one where how we balance our life, and yeah. So, anyways, I won't get off topic there, but I just thought that was funny that another podcaster decided to do it on the same week with his wife.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. It's an important topic. And I've talked to my wife about, especially once we kind of work through a couple of more things just
Mm.
to and get some more experience as a couple doing a few things under our belt, like coming on and bringing her on and doing the same kind of thing. And I think it's good
Yeah.
for people to hear because it's especially for someone like you guys, you know, we get to know you through your YouTube videos and all that. People don't realize like there's a family that's backing you behind you, right? You got a wife and the kids and you're balancing it all. And you're a dude, you're a normal fella that's working hard. You got jobs to support your hunting habits and besides what you guys get from Stuck in the Rut. Yeah, and that's one thing that I always appreciated about you guys was that, you guys are loggers, construction workers, blue collar dudes with jobs and but you do what you have to do to live the lifestyle that you want to live.
Yeah. And so I'm still doing it, believe it or not. I would love to get to the point where the hunting industry is, I'm doing it in full time. But I think that, I feel like we're doing pretty good with it. It's just, it's seasonal. It's very seasonal. And And I feel like I can't, and also I feel like with the current occupation that I have, the current occupation that Travis has, what Adam and Tana have, Trevor, like we all have jobs where truly we make more money in our jobs than we do in the hunting space. And
Right.
so we have a hard time letting go of that until it gets to a point where Stuck and Rut is truly raking it in. But the other thing too is we're really careful in how we make money because we don't want to rub people the wrong way. And so we're really careful in how we make money, if that makes sense. Like we're like, we don't want that. I mean, I could care less if people call us sellouts or not, but we're only going to market companies that we like and that we have experience with. And that can be hard because products change every year, right? So if let's say we use a Hoyt bow, it's like by the end of the year, it's like, okay, I love this Hoyt bow. Well, guess what? The new one's already come out. So you're
Yeah.
like, well, now you got to start over. It's like, I can't really say I love a product until it goes through a hunting season, right? I can
Right.
tell you I'll tell you the name of the release, but after this hunt season, I could tell you a release that I absolutely hated. And it's actually, they're good with building other products, but that release was a joke. And a lot of people have, after I did it like Instagram story, I'm like, uh, this release is broken. People are like, oh yeah, that's happened to me too with that same release. I'm like, everybody's telling me that release crapped out on them. But anyways, I'm not going to bash a product on here, but I
Yeah.
was just like, but what I'm saying is, yeah, I feel like that's another thing people can relate to just because, we have to work just like everybody else. And yeah, and we take time off every single year and we hunt. And we did that long before we saw a dollar sign in the hunting space. A lot of people think that it's easy.
No.
And they think that YouTube and even the amount of like followers that we have and the amount of views we have on YouTube, they think we're just raking it in on YouTube. I'm like, I promise you, YouTube, the only thing that YouTube's good for is for the fame, but it doesn't bring in the money. Like
Right.
you have to find other avenues with that. It gets the attention. It gets the attention of companies that want to work with us, but in itself, YouTube itself, it's pennies.
Right.
Unfortunately, but we love the feedback. We love doing it, and it's almost part of the hunt now. Like where it feels off not to film your hunt. Does that make sense? So anytime well, like I killed a monster whitetail a couple years ago, and I couldn't get the camera working because it was so cold. It was 8 degrees Fahrenheit, and my camera couldn't get my camera working, and so I ended up killing the buck without the camera rolling. And there's still something that eats me inside where I'm like, "That'd have been such a cool video," you know?
Right.
I have a lot of hunts like that where it's just like, oh, like, yeah, it was a fun hunt, but it's like, it's almost part of the hunt now. Like, it's part of like the success of the hunt. Does that make sense? So like
Yep.
growing up, like the success of the hunt was killing the animal. Now it's getting it on film too, killing and getting it on film. And
Right.
when you get that together, it's just like, yes. And it's a hunt that you get to live like, because part of the hunt is making memories. And to us, it's capturing the memory on film.
Before we get started, I want to thank our first partner, Response Ready Medical. Response Ready Medical, bringing our customers the best quality training and equipment for the worst case scenario. Response Ready Medical's vision is to be the leading provider of emergency preparedness solutions across the United States, empowering communities, organizations, and individuals to respond confidently and preserve life during critical moments. Offering same-day certification, all Response Ready Medical classes are instructed by nationally registered and state-licensed firefighter, paramedics, law enforcement officers, and hospital staff. Classes currently being offered by Response Ready Medical include CPR and AED, CPR, AED, and first aid, emergency trauma care, child and babysitting safety, CABS, backcountry medicine, and wilderness first aid. Your premium partner in emergency preparedness, Response Ready Medical. Yeah, I mean, you guys have a whole YouTube channel full of memories for your
Yeah.
family, which is pretty sweet. That's definitely cool, man. No, I love it, and I really appreciate that you talking about that and the deep dive into some of that stuff. Just, I think it's fun for people to get to know who they're watching and following in these things. And the industry can just be so noisy. It's cool to sit down and chat with you and hear some of the background stuff, behind the scenes, real people stuff.
Yeah. Everybody's pretty nice, like, and I think the industry as of lately, I've noticed has been getting a lot of heat. And I'm like, honestly, when you get to know these people, they're fine. Everybody's just trying to make a living, and,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of really good guys out there. And yeah, It's good, and I'm always open to talk to people about that. Like if people are like, "Hey, is the hunt industry a scam? Is it this or that?" I'm willing to tell you everything. Like some people do it for the wrong reasons, some people do it for the right reasons. I think in the end, if you're smart enough, you'll know you'll if you pay attention close enough, you'll see what's fake and you'll see what's not.
Yeah.
And yeah, you'll just you know what I mean?
Well, I
Um,
know
you
for, my experience, just to kind of like piggyback on that before we move on, is just that I have very limited experience in the industry so far. I've been running the podcast for, 7 months and, a little bit of the outfitting stuff, like I told you. The outfitting's a little different. Not that outfitters aren't bad, but, like you said, man, a lot of people aren't in love. The locals aren't in love with the outfitters. But in the media stuff and kind of the realm I've been plugged into a little bit lately, my experience, and I kind of would say a little bit to my surprise for the reasons you're talking about, people kind of unsure of the industry, has been that guys want to help out, right? Just like you willing to spend time with me today and come on the podcast and being willing to help me out with that. Some of my recent guests that are just like, yeah, man, it's no big deal. I'm happy to help you out. And I think that's kind of what's my experience is turning into is guys wanting to and more than willing to lend a hand.
and I'm glad you see it that way too. And, it is important to me because, well, I've just learned over time that the only way for hunting to truly stay, like for us to always have hunting in our lives, because a lot of people are saying that hunting is a dying sport. The only way for it to continue is if we work together.
Yep.
And that's the biggest fight right now is there is division amongst hunters that you wouldn't believe. I can't believe it myself. It's like I see it in the comment section. It's hard not to when I'm the one running the YouTube channel and all the social media.
Right.
And I see people hating on us. And I'm like, I could honestly care less in what you say about me, but we need to work together. And first of all, don't assume things. Like, don't assume because I'm consistent, like I'm doing something wrong,
Yep.
like,
People think you're cheating, right? It's like, oh,
yeah,
he must be poaching or he must be cheating or he must be
yeah.
whatever excuse. And yeah,
What's
jealousy.
helped with What's happened, what I'll say what's helped with the Stuck on Rut videos is it's took a lot of those rumors away, but then more, of course, come. But like growing up, our family was really well known for hunting success. And same thing, we had those rumors of, oh, the Schneiders, they're doing something wrong because they're always killing big stuff, right? Like I still crack up to just remember my brother Travis. I mean, that guy, and still is to this day, just an absolute unit. He's 6'4" and the guy's got legs like a moose. And he would just kill big bull year after year with a bow and arrow. And it would drive these old men, I'm saying old men, like 30, our age now, 30 to 40-year-old men nuts that this young teenager is out killing guys with experience. And so they would come up with all types of crap and things you're just like, really? You think Travis does that? Like, you know what I mean? It's petty, a lot of pettiness
Yeah.
going on. But like I said, what I'll say what it did locally at least, like a lot of people I grew up with, they realized, oh, you guys actually go get after it. And but like I said, like I'd say I need to not focus as much on the hate, but we actually have a very positive community of people that follow us and who love our footage and love our content. And so there's a lot of that. And I want to say to those people, thank you. Thank you for your support. And thank you because without them, we wouldn't be where we're at today. And I just feel bad for guys in the industry. I see like, and I'll use an example like Cameron Haynes, like he gets tons of hate. That poor guy, you
Yep.
know, like if you get that big, like he's probably one of the biggest in the industry right now, right? He's so big that like his hater group is huge and they attack him so hard. And I'm just like, and, and it's over stupid stuff. And I'm like, dude, why are you're just like, a lot of just haters are hating because they're not
Yep.
there. They weren't willing
Yep.
to
Well, they
work
got
as hard.
nothing. They're jealous and
And
they got nothing better to do, man. Yeah.
yeah, and it's unfortunate that happens to people, but you learn who your true friends are. I feel like, but honestly, I feel like in this industry, I feel like I've made a lot of really good friends and a lot of, like I said, we just can't focus on that negativity.
Right.
But yeah, you lose friends, you gain friends. It's just
Yeah.
how it is.
Right.
But no, we do work hard for our animals, and I'm not the type of guy that's I have to say it. It's unfortunate. I don't want to be cocky, but it's like we work hard for our animals, people. I promise. If I don't say it, then people just think I don't know, like animals come to us or we're paying some outfitter to do all the
Right.
scouting for us, or you know
Well,
what
I
I
can tell you
mean?
there's no outfitters up there or in the state of Idaho doing scouting for the Schneiders.
Yeah.
Tell you that firsthand. But hey everybody, I just want to take a quick break to thank you for listening to the Pursuing Freedom Outdoors podcast. And to thank you today, I want to offer you a discount at 360 Sportsman. Head over to 360sportsman.org now and use promo code PF15. That is PF15 to get 15% off your subscription to any of their master classes listed on the website. You can learn anything over there to improve your skills at hunting, fishing, trapping, snowmobiling. There's going to be first aid classes up there. They've got all kinds of stuff. There's even a how to build a house class coming. So anything you want to learn related to the outdoors or just making yourself a more knowledgeable human being, head over to 360sportsman.org. Use promo code PF to get 15% off any of their master classes. Want to thank you for listening to the Pursuing Freedom Outdoors podcast, and we'll get back to the show. Hey, everybody. Hey, so we had a really good conversation. Thanks again. And if this resonates with you, I want to welcome you to the tribe and encourage you to share this podcast with your friends. Hit subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Pursuing Freedom Outdoors. And if you or someone you know has a great story about life or the wilderness, I want to share it. You can shoot me a message on Instagram or email me with all inquiries and questions at thomas@pursuingfreedomoutdoors.com. That's Thomas, THOMAS, at pursuingfreedomoutdoors.com. Until next time, get out there, get after it, and pursue freedom in the outdoors.